Moses. Now, all of the Israelites, they're called Israelites because they're descended from Jacob, Jacob, remember him? The dad that got old and now he's dead probably. He got the name Israel later. Long story, his people are the Israelites, his descendants. Every song, and that is a masterpiece. Never seen Prince of Egypt? Morris, you've never seen Prince of Egypt? It's the greatest movie musical of all time. We will set the stage. So, all of the Israelites are living in Egypt. It's all good. They have enough food and stuff, and a long time passes. So, all of the Israelites are vibing in Egypt, and then the Egyptians start to get kind of racist, and they're like, there sure are a lot of them. They're not Egyptians, we're Egyptians. We need to stop them. And so they enslave them, and then Pharaoh, at that point, it's a different Pharaoh, not the same one. Pharaoh's like, there are still a lot of them. We need to have fewer of them. So, anytime any of them has a baby, if it's a boy, you gotta kill it. I guess no one in his court questions this, or if they do, he's the Pharaoh. He's like, all right, no boy babies, just like Herod did with Jesus. It's like, okay, they won't be able to have any kids in a generation if we kill all of the boy babies now. It's fine. The Israelites are not super cool with this, obviously, but they're enslaved and there's not much they can do. If they try to resist, they're just gonna get killed too. The Israelites are having a bad time. And they're like, we don't want to be here anymore. And so this is where Prince of Egypt starts, and there's a whole song about it where it's like, deliver us, boom, boom. Hero call, deliver us. And I don't do it justice because they've got like a whole chorus. Oh, it's so good. And the drums are so intense. Man, I love Prince of Egypt. Cut to Yocheved, who is one of the Israelites there. God's like, hey, Yocheved, I got a plan to get everybody out of slavery, and it involves your son. And she's like, yeah, so Pharaoh's killing all the boy babies. And God's like, I thought of that. I'm gonna need you to make a basket and put him in it, and then just put the basket in the river. She's like, do I go get him later? And God's like, nope, just leave him in the river. I got it. Just trust me. I mean, isn't that what faith is? Yocheved has faith. Okay, so she does what God tells her to do. She has a whole song about it. It's so beautiful. May Afrahaza rest in peace. She puts him in the basket, and then she has a whole other lullaby. It's like, hush now, my baby, be still, love, don't cry. Moses, in the movie, he gets like attacked by hippos, but the hippos don't get him, and the ship doesn't run him over, and eventually he floats down the Nile to the palace where Pharaoh lives. And Pharaoh's daughter is like taking a bath because I guess they didn't have bathtubs. You just have to take a bath in the river. Pharaoh's daughter is bathing in the river and she sees this basket. She's like, ooh, basket. And she opens it and there's a baby inside. She's like, all right, I guess this baby's mine now. I'm gonna name him Moses. It just means drawn up out of the water because that's what she did. She picked him up out of the river and now she's hers. And so she adopts him and he is raised as a prince in the palace, and that's why we get Prince of Egypt. Moses grows up as a prince. He doesn't have any idea that he's descended from the Israelites. He's like, the slaves, that sucks. They're all slaves. I have better things to do. Bye. Eventually, though, he discovers his true heritage. It's like the worst you're adopted story ever. You're adopted. I don't know where you came from, but we found you in the river. I did not give birth to you, Moses. We found you in the river. But I still love you as my son. And his mom has a song about it too. She's like, the God sent you to us. You are my son, just like Ramesses II over here. He's the next in line to be Pharaoh. Yeah, she's like, you're adopted, but I love you. Moses he's grappling with this. And then he kills a guy. He kills a guard. We're in Exodus by now. Guys, we went through all of Genesis, narratively. The Israelite men are like working together because they're enslaved, and one of the Egyptians is displeased with the work, I guess, and like starts beating the Israelite slave. Moses feels a new connection to the Israelites, and also he's like, what are you doing? Come on, man, he's doing his best. In the movie, it's actually kind of messed up. I couldn't watch that scene for years. Moses is like, stop doing that, and the Egyptian guy is like, why? He's just a slave. And Moses, the guy dies. And then Moses is like, I just murdered someone. And in the movie, Ramesses is like, who cares? I'm almost Pharaoh by now. If I say you're innocent, and Moses is like, you can't change reality, and runs away. While he is running away in the desert, I don't think this happens in the Bible, but in the movie, a camel mistakes his hair for grass and tries to eat it. And that kind of sucks for him. It looks like it hurts. Anyway, he ends up with the Midianites. They live outside of Egypt and they do their own thing. They're like, hey, what's up? Who are you? Come hang out with us. And there's another great song in the movie. It's like, look at your life through heaven's eyes. Look at yourself the way that God sees you, as a piece in this grand design of God's ultimate plan. Love yourself because God loves you and looks upon you with that love. And it's so catchy, and they like dance, and he gets married at the end. In the Bible, that does also happen. He marries one of the Midianite girls whose name is Zipporah. Oh man, in the movie, she's so hardcore. I love her. And she has the coolest earrings. They have some kids, and eventually Moses, no, not Zipporah. Moses is out doing his shepherd thing. He's like tending the sheep, and then there's a bush on fire, but it's not consuming the bush. Usually if a plant is on fire, the fire consumes it, right? This fire is not doing that. And Moses is like, this is important, and he takes off his shoes because this is now holy ground, and God speaks to him through the burning bush. God is like, Moses, I know you ran away from Egypt, but I have heard the cry of your people. They are enslaved, they are suffering, and I have not forgotten my promise. I need you to go free them. I need you to go tell Pharaoh that he needs to let them go free. And Moses is like, yeah, Pharaoh's gonna like that. And God's like, who made man's mouth? Who made the deaf, the mute, the seeing, or the blind? Did not I? Go. And Moses is like, okay. He says to Moses, I am that I am. Dude, imagine being yelled at by God. And I mean, I don't blame Moses. Like, imagine God tells you, I need you to destroy Walmart as a corporation. A dance-off. It's an example. I don't know, I'm not a professional preacher or anything. I just watched Prince of Egypt a lot of times. And Moses is like, I am one person. I am one dude. And God is like, two dudes. You and me. I'm literally God. You can't fail if I'm on your side, okay? Just trust me. And Moses is like, okay. So he goes back and he's like, hey, Zipporah, I gotta go to Egypt. I gotta free my people. God told me to. And Zipporah's like, okay, divine mission. Here we go. I am your wife. I'm coming with you. That's what she says in the movie, at least. I go to Egypt. And Moses is like, I'm gonna need you to free all the slaves. Pharaoh is like, absolutely not. That's gonna wreck the economy. And Moses is like, no, dude, I really need you to do this. God says, or there's gonna be trouble. Pharaoh's like, I'll take my chances. God sends a bunch of plagues. Pharaoh is not being cooperative, and he is not helping, and he is not being very nice either. Pharaoh's like, Moses, stop messing up my kingdom. And finally, God pulls out the big guns.